back from that short commercial break, and these are financial markets brought to you by, presented to you by Julius Nsubuga. And well, we're now basically going to be looking at the African stock market. And before that, it is very important to note that Africa's stock market journey is quite a very young one. And however, we see very much promise within the stock markets in Africa, and most especially in Nairobi, Kenya, in South Africa, in Nigeria, probably in Egypt as well, and other countries that are basically promising. However, we have a few bits of some information for you regarding some of the top performing stock markets in Africa. Remember, a stock market is where companies are listed and are able to sell part of their companies to the public, or part of their shares to the public. So, and before that, of course, also knowing that the stock market is a place where buying and selling is happening all the time, well, you have brokers in there, you have people that can help you. For example, we have seen the recent MTN IPO and all these. So now MTN Uganda is basically a public company. So it is public companies that are listed on these securities exchanges and stock exchanges per se. Yeah, so the top best performing African stock markets are basically Lusaka Securities Exchange, which was this was best performing bourse in Africa last year, according to the checks by Business Insider Africa. And the Lusaka Securities Exchange recorded 93.2% gain in 2021. So you can see that well, this is very this is a very important trend, because a country's stock exchange represents its business prowess, because most of the time you will find that countries with vibrant stock exchange markets normally have vibrant business environments. And well, it's just that stock markets for a long time have been determinants of economic growth in developed countries, and we can see the trend also coming to developing countries. We can see the trend also portraying in developing countries. So Lusaka Securities Exchange, as you can see over there, Lusaka is basically Zambia, and I think this is quite something to be noted. The Securities Exchange recorded 93.2% gain. That is as of 2021. That's quite something huge. That's quite something huge. So also looking at Ghana Stock Exchange, the Ghanaian bourse emerged the second best performer on the continent, with investors' gain standing at 38.59%. So if I'm an investor, I am thinking, where is my money going? Yeah, in the stock exchange, in these public markets, you find people buying and selling, and most especially you find the normal person buying. It's not just about, private equity is quite different from the stock exchange market, because in private equity you only buy into private companies. But with public companies listed on these exchanges, you basically buy into the companies, whoever the public can buy into these companies. So that means that having a 38.59% investors gain is basically, I should say, a very good stock exchange to invest in. And that's quite something that we should pay attention to. Lusaka, remember, was at 93.2% as of last year. That is the investors gain, 93.2%. That's quite something commendable. So Ghana at 38.59%. Malawi as well, Malawi Stock Exchange also quite performed fairly good with a stock exchange recorded at 32.24% gain for investors. So investors, by the way, you and I can be investors in any public company. All you need to do, find a broker who can buy for you that stock, and that's it. And if you're basically also a person or a company that you wish to list on the stock exchange market, I think it's also a way that can help you, get capital for your business, and also, so it's a very much reliable way of gathering money, or probably getting funding from the public, because the public doesn't really matter, but the public, most of the time, you have security of money as a company. You have more security of those funds. So that money may come back, or it may not come back. So these are the challenges of investing in the stock exchange markets. In that when there's a decline, since you are also a part owner of the company, you will actually also suffer the loss. But by all standards, these companies listed on the stock exchange markets, they have to meet certain criteria. And that means that also they have to really meet the investors' needs in terms of returns on investment. So that's why they have very good corporate governance systems that can basically help them make their investments worthwhile by doing good business and also having the right systems in place. At the end of the day, have the investors' gain really rise up. Johannesburg Stock Exchange Market as well, you can see that it also closed the year 2021 with a 24% gain, and which I think is quite something commendable as well. Johannesburg Stock Exchange Market has been a very impressive stock exchange market in Africa. I think by far it's been the biggest in recent years, and we can see Nigeria as well has been performing quite well, and it's also on the list, by the way, so we're going to be also looking at that. But however, Johannesburg for a long time has been a very good performer in the stock exchange market. So Johannesburg, many companies are listed there, and you can also basically just Google in and see how many companies are listed on the exchange. But I think it has the biggest stock exchange market by market capitalization. By market cap. So it means that Johannesburg is basically still performing well, and is number 4th as of last year's performance of the stock markets. So the stock exchange of Mauritius as well, it also performed well. This stock market closed 2021 with a 16.7% gain for investors. Well, that's quite something as well. When you have any small percentage increase in your wealth every single year invested in the public market, it's quite something commendable, because you just imagine how about 10 years from now, your money can have multiplied. If you invest your money right now in Google, or probably say Amazon, or say in Apple, or in MTN, or in any other company, you'll find that in 10, 20 years, keeping other factors constant, your money can grow. So basically, it's also a way of securing your future, probably in terms of these companies also have pension funds for people that basically invest for the long term. And of course, investing in the stock market also requires a lot of investors' instincts, because you need to really be at the top of your game for you to be able to invest in these companies. So it is very much important to note that the stock markets in Africa contribute by far a huge percentage to economic growth. And by the way, as well, in Uganda, we don't see that much traction, because probably I think it's because of the information flow, and I think it should be a culture that should be inculcated right from the right from high school, you must be knowing that, okay, when I put my money in a publicly traded company, I can make money out of it. It doesn't matter how much you invest in, but the culture itself is very much important to creation of wealth. So the stock exchange markets have created so many millionaires, because when you're actually a private company and you list your company on the stock exchange, you will actually find your money growing by far. So just right over there, just up a bit over there, you have the Casablanca Stock Exchange. Also, it closed the year with a 15.9% gain for investors. This is quite something commendable as well. So that is Casablanca. The Egyptian exchange, as I said before, is one of the most vibrant. And you can see their percentage gain at 9.8%. So it is something to be really commendable, because the Egyptian stock exchange has for a long time given very good gains to investors. But this time around it was 9.8%. But in recent years, it's even been more. Nairobi Securities Exchange also has been quite something, because Nairobi in East Africa is the largest by far. And it has more than 20 companies listed over there, but I'm not sure about the figure right now. But we can also bring that to you later on. So it is at 7.8. It closed the year 2021 with 7.8% percentage gain for investors, thereby coming in as the 8th best performer for last year. Let me just talk about Nairobi as well. Nairobi is referred to as the Africa's Silicon Savannah. Have you heard of the Silicon Valley? Well, Nairobi is the African Silicon Valley. However, it's called the Silicon Savannah of Africa. So it is very much important to note that even the level of digital transformation, and we can see great companies like Safaricom in Kenya, listed on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So we must say the culture for trading is much more developed than in Uganda, because it was adopted earlier on. Uganda is a bit still young, but we must say it will get there. But Nairobi, I think investors are happy over there. So if you invest your money in, say, Nairobi, in a company traded on the Nairobi Securities Exchange, on average, you must have gained a 7.8% gain as of last year. So that's it for Nairobi. However, watch out for Nairobi, because there are lots and lots of innovations. Nairobi is moving at a very fast pace. Its stock exchange market is really very much vibrant. So Nigeria is also one of those countries in Africa that we must also take note, because I think the Nigerian exchange group is also one to be noted, because it's been for a long time. Recently, it's been performing well, and as of last year, it basically was able to give 6.07%. Its index ended, with 6.07% gain for investors. And I think that's quite something commendable as well. So, investing in public markets is a skill, and I think just like any other investing that you can do, probably with forex or with bonds or corporate bonds or government bonds, or probably any kind of investments that you do, maybe in real estate, or maybe any alternative asset class, or maybe in a private company, you must be able to basically assess. You must assess the risk, you must assess the investment, and then you can make the investment, knowing that you can lose the money, or your money can also multiply, and therefore making you happy. So Nigerian stock exchange market is one of the most vibrant in Africa. Even if probably we may say it had a very smaller percentage gain for investors of 6.07%, it still remains very vibrant because you have many companies over there. And we have seen actually companies like Jumia being listed on the New York Stock Exchange market, and that's quite something commendable for Africa, because having companies listed on big exchange markets means that you have a lot of capital in those companies, and then probably they can be able to scale, and it creates more wealth. So stock exchange markets create wealth, and Uganda, we must learn to invest. If we are to basically become wealthy, we must be well-versed. We must become well-versed with the Ugandan stock exchange market, or probably we may have to look at the players there. Just choose a company you want to invest in. Just watch it closely for quite some time. Follow it up in newspapers, and then you'll be able to make a very wonderful decision based on not based on excitement, but based on reason. And there you can be able to make your money grow. So, and then also, if you look at the Dar es Salaam stock exchange market, it closed this year with a 4.0% gain for investors. That's for Dar es Salaam, and it's our neighbor just right here. So probably, if you want to invest in stock markets, the first thing you may want to do is to look out for these stock exchange markets, and this may be the first step. You have seen that actually the Lusaka stock exchange market is the, as of last year, gave out the biggest, over 93% gain to investors. Meaning if you invested your money on average, you must have had a 93% gain on your money. Is really not something to be joked about. It is really a very good gain. And so that's it for the top performing. And now you have down there, below the top performing African stocks in 2021. So let's have a look at them as well. The top performing, just right over here. You have Sothema. Sothema is a company, and its stocks actually increased by, the value of its stocks increased by 184.3%. That's quite something over there. And I can say that Sothema is a company that I'm not really well versed with, but I think it is quite a very good company to follow up, because it's basically caught my attention of late as well. So basically just Google it up and then see what it does, and that is how you basically start to know which company you can invest in based on previous track records. So it is very important. And now you have Samcon, MTN Ghana. It had its stocks in value increased by 82.0%. This is a very good performance over there. And you have FBN Holdings at 75%. And probably I can have this go up. Probably I can have my producer Job helping me out with this. So you have these markets performing very wonderfully in Africa, and sometimes we think that probably it can't amount to much, but it does really amount to much, because it is worthwhile you investing your money in any African country. But of course, having done your homework, knowing which country and which stock exchange market, which company to invest in. So many of these stock exchange markets, I think you've gotten a clue of what it really means to invest in Nigeria, in Johannesburg, in Malawi, in Ghana, and so on and so forth. So that's it that we had for you with the stock markets in Africa. So now, let's now actually close up with this. If we want to take the African stock market forward, it must be a culture for us to basically invest, however small. And I had I had a mentor actually telling me that it doesn't matter how much you invest in. Well, you can actually make it. You can actually make money out of stocks. So now let's have a look at now what's coming up. We have Marcelino coming up with more within the Forex. And that's it for the financial markets. And it's been very, very great having you watching Smart 24 and financial markets, where we give you, this is where we give you the best of business broadcasting, and it's just about driving business. Johannesburg, see you tomorrow.